I believe there's a mindset that we should either invest in valuable things or just buy the necessary items that aren't too important.
The Park Midam meeting classifies things as everyday and high-end, but what are the major differences?
That's not how it works. There are things we absolutely need, and I believe that saying we only need the basics here is a strategy for low prices and high turnover. In truth, many people with considerable wealth and financial comfort often buy low-cost items that aren't necessary for them. Some individuals go to Daiso to purchase only the necessary items and spend a lot on truly needed things, while others, even with limited financial means, indulge in experiences like omakase. Even college students go to places that cost 200,000 won per person. However, occasionally, if I believe it's worth it, I go there with my girlfriend or boyfriend to enjoy a nice time. But usually, I just eat triangle kimbap instead. In the end, I believe it's about where you choose to assign value to your money.
So, what do you believe is the main advantage of the Park Midam meeting's way of operating?
Honestly, in low-cost, high-volume service isn't really the main focus, is it? They yell loudly, asserting that we are the cheapest, and their strategy is to claim we have the lowest prices anywhere, urging those who need it to purchase. I think the big difference is in expressing that this coffee has a higher value than any other coffee you can eat.
I've heard that beginning a restaurant in the high-end sector is risky, but is it possible to start a high-end restaurant?
Yes, I support the idea of selling high-end products. However, I believe you need to have sufficient experience with high-end items to do it effectively. Simply having good products and selling them doesn't qualify as high-end. For instance, some individuals spend millions on restaurant interiors. I sincerely want to sell high-end food. While spending a lot on decor and beautifully arranging items, they might wear an inexpensive brand apron at crucial moments. I place my ordinary spoon down and choose the cheapest wet wipes, often finding odd ways to save money. However, for high-end items, I need to feel that it's high-end from the moment I step into the store until I walk out for it to hold that value. However, there are many instances where that's not the case. Those who haven't experienced high-end might assume this is high-end, but it isn't. Every tiny detail, including the music, the paint on the ceiling, and the air, needs to be high-end to have a true high-end experience. But those who haven't experienced it don't understand. I will sell expensive items. There are many instances where I set it up that way, but I don't want to sell at the lowest price, and I'm not someone who handles inexpensive items. I think being in the middle is the biggest risk. But when I try to increase it just a bit, there are many cases where it goes wrong. Thus, when starting a business, if you aim for high-end, you should invest adequately and experience it. If that's feasible, I believe pursuing high-end is the correct direction.
Are there any major success cases with Park Midam and high-end?
Previously, while I was working at a company, I sold a lot of affordable items, and it was a place that sold rice bowls made in stone pots near a university. There, a bowl of rice cost 3,900 won, and it was nearly a factory. They prepared the sauce and placed it in the stone pot, and it was a very sweet and spicy sauce. So, when customers came, they would put rice in the stone pot, turn on the heat, add an egg, sprinkle seaweed flakes, and just serve it like that, almost like a factory. On the first day of classes, they sold 1,000 bowls, but there wasn't much left. Even at 3,900 won, there wasn't much profit, but selling 1,000 bowls made people think it was the lowest price in the neighborhood, yet tasty. Adiboy. They even ventured into China, and there are many more. In the past, it was similar with rice burgers. When making triangle rice balls, they just put rice, added sauce, and wrapped it up, but it was overwhelmingly the best in the neighborhood. I think if you focus on the lowest price, the business can thrive. Conversely, high-end is quite challenging. As I mentioned before, it's not easy to achieve high-end quality. To achieve high-end, you need to invest a significant amount of money. The person providing high-end services must also be capable, and in a way, their appearance needs to be neat, and every single item must be tidy. It needs to be elegant and fit the tone, but achieving that in a small setting is quite difficult.
I've heard that the Park Midam meeting makes more money. Is that really true?
High-end often doesn't make money. For example, if you look at fine dining restaurants, many are featured on YouTube. Even if they use really good ingredients and hire expensive chefs, charging 200,000 or 300,000 won per person, how many people can afford that? That's the issue. However, when looking at the overall customer base, low prices and high volume can be profitable. But I think this is somewhat of an exception in the restaurant industry. Other than that, if you consider stores like Daiso, they operate on a low price, high volume basis. If you can bring together the best quality at the lowest prices globally, I'm fine with that. Offering pork belly at the lowest price, while others charge 12,000 won per serving, and I charge 8,000 won, that won't attract customers. If it were around 4,000 won, it might be different, but then there wouldn't be any profit, right? On YouTube, there are many great restaurants and famous chefs promoting their own restaurants and growing their channels. Surprisingly, many of those people are not the owners. There are actually real owners behind them, and it's quite common for them to have a YouTube filming team for promotion.
Oh, so you would be an employee?
You could be an employee, or you might have been one and then gained shares as the business grew. It's similar to celebrities with agencies. Such cases are more common than you might think. They have good manners and provide great service, but they have a lot of money. So why would they run that business? That's how I see it.
Do you have any messages for business owners who are contemplating whether high-end or park mid-em is right for them?
Occasionally, I suggest to restaurant owners that if they are running a meat place, they should check out a high-end restaurant in the same category. Yet, some customers feel awkward when they visit. It's great, but too costly. They question how to eat this at this price. I think that's unacceptable. The reason is that if I perceive value here and know how to spend money, I can identify where this person spends and provide for that instead of just seeing the surface. Is this meat really 200,000 won? If it goes on like this, that business can't succeed. Also, due to the low price strategy, the concept of value for money came about. I think about addressing the shortcomings with my strengths. I think it would be right to incorporate what I'm good at into the business.
If this is mixed well, the chances of success in business will be much higher, correct?
Yes. So, you need to blend your strengths into the business. This is something I keep emphasizing. I have mentioned extremes such as high-end or low cost, but customers have become very polarized. People tend to spend money only where it's truly necessary and invest heavily in valuable places, but I believe most people operate in the middle ground between high-end and low cost. However, I hope you reflect on which side you are leaning towards and how to align with that, so you can continue to manage your business successfully. Thank you.